Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to W16 of Cyber Resilience, Protecting What Matters in 2025. This is Dr. Rhonda Farrell, the founder of CSTGIA, and today we are talking about the Cyber Maturity Map, moving from compliance to capability. Why are we diving into this? Because cross-sector collaboration helps to build scalable, sustainable resilience. In previous sessions, we focused on foresight, emerging threats, misinformation, and the human element. This week, we tie those pieces together by asking, how mature is your cyber strategy? How well integrated is it across your partnerships, sectors, and systems? Because in today's threat landscape, cyber resiliency is not a solo act, it's a symphony of collaboration. So why cyber maturity matters now? Well, let's start with this. In the last year, over 75% of critical infrastructure breaches were linked not to a lack of awareness, but to breakdowns in coordination between public and private entities. As we face AI-fueled phishing, quantum-enabled decryption, and deepfake misinformation, it's no longer enough to simply respond. We must evolve and evolve quickly. And that evolution requires a maturity model that prioritizes shared awareness, consistent practices, and joint action. So let's talk about the 5 levels of cybersecurity resilience maturity. Where is your organization right now? A very simplified maturity map could look something like this. Reactive. You and your organization only respond when something goes wrong. Defined. You and your organization have policies, but very little consistency in action and follow-up. Integrated. You and your organization have embedded your cyber strategy into your mission, but you're lacking cohesiveness, standardization, and a completely proactive approach. Collaborative. You and your organization actively engage with partners to help you strengthen your defenses. And lastly, predictive and adaptive. You and your organization use foresight, AI, and trend monitoring to stay ahead of the game. So what level describes your agency, your organization, and most of all, your mindset and culture today? What would it take to move up that maturity mapping ladder? Why collaboration increases maturity? Because maturity is not just about having better tools, it's about having better teams. And that means partnerships, different perspectives, diversity in thought, defense in depth. That's what collaboration and partnerships give you. You have to bust out of your ceiling and break through your box when you work with your partnerships collaboratively, because they're going to raise you together to the next level. Just as a rising tide lifts all boats, partnerships in a collaborative manner will heighten your cyber resiliency. So where does cross-sector collaboration accelerate our maturity? And it does it in meaningful ways through enabling timely threat intelligence exchanges, oftentimes creating common standards for response, leveraging diverse funding, talent, and tools, and strengthening underserved regions and critical services. That's why we're ultimately seeing the rise of joint cyber resilience councils occurring. They're bringing together local, state, federal, and commercial and industry players because they need to share foresight and they need to co-own the resilience landscape. Next, we look at this cyber maturity scorecard. So we want what you don't measure doesn't get implemented, done, nor advance. So we want you to put a line in the sand. We want you to put a stake in the ground downstream of how you're optimally going to collaborate in partnership to raise your resiliency levels. And the scorecard factors could look, or dimensions could look something like this. Do you have a governance and risk strategy? If so, to what extent is it built out? What extent are you capitalizing on your threat intelligence integration? What about your cyber workforce development on a scorecard? Are you A, B, C, D, F? How about your vendor and your supply chain security? Your AI and quantum preparedness levels, your response readiness levels, and most of all, your culture of cyber awareness. If you're not familiar with the Baldrige cybersecurity optimization tool, Google that and you will find a wonderful maturity model to help you self-assess as well as give you actionable steps to take to move you forward. So you can use the scorecard, you can use similar constructs to the Baldrige Cybersecurity Awareness Builder. There are plenty of guidance on the NIST website. There is plenty of guidance in looking at the NICE framework with regard to the capabilities, etc., that you can plug in to fuel your forward movement towards greater resiliency in these areas. So Baldrige Cyber, Security Builder, NIST standards, NICE framework, a great way of looking at how you can move further faster. And lastly, moving from compliance to culture, because mature cyber resilience goes way beyond compliance. You're baking it into everything you do so that it becomes a cultural building block. It's going to show up in your leadership daily behavior. It's going to show up in your interagency, interpartnering scenario planning. It's going to show up in your shared dashboards for governance and risk. It's going to show up in your cross-functional cyber upskilling. Because here's the truth. You cannot be resilient alone. Not anymore. The threats are too fast, they're too smart, and the globe has gotten too borderless. You need to make a posse and you need to work with them to heighten your cyber resiliency going forward. So as we close week 16, I want to challenge you to think bigger. Join a regional resilience working group. Invite an external partner to a tabletop exercise. Share your maturity score with your peers. And most of all, map your path forward. You don't want them to take advantage of something. What you're trying to do is get their perspective on where your capability gaps are so that they can help you map that path forward and accelerate your path to greater cybersecurity resiliency. If you're already leading in the space, bring someone else along with you because it is truly a shared journey. Next week, we're going to shift to a powerful new topic, cyber resilience in R&D and emerging tech labs. Until then, protect what matters most by building partnerships that can withstand the future. And I'll leave you with the final quote today. Cybersecurity is not just a discipline, it's a national and global mindset. Again, this is Dr. Rhonda Farrell, the founder of CSTGIA, wrapping up week 16 of our phenomenal cyber resilience, protecting what matters in 2025 series.